Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to pour this flower again. It didn't turn out so nicely because I had too many micro bubbles in my resin, so the flower was not clear. And I decided to pour it again, and there were my colors. I will tell you a little bit about the colors later. So I'm pouring my resin, the Mastercast resin, into my mold. I have here the L size tray mold from MoldsandShapes. It's the Oriental mold. And what I did differently, I had my part A from the Mastercast resin on the heating system, so there are no air bubbles. And as you see here, I added a little bit too much resin into my mold, so I had to take a little bit out. So coming back to my colors, and while I'm preparing here my resin and going over with the heat gun, etc., etc., I mixed my first color, the white, with the pigment drops in white and a little bit of the interference pearl. Then I made a mixture of blue and black of the pigment drops. So I had like 3 drops of blue and 1 drop of the black. And then I used a color shift or a Hypershift powder. It's a metallic powder from Dipon and it's called Wildfire. And it shifts from a goldenish, copper, brownish tone to a pinkish tone, and it's really beautiful. So I'm still busy with my mold, with my bubbles, which are trapped at the edges where all the fine design is of the mold. So this always takes me a while, but I just thought you are still maybe interested in how I'm preparing my resin. So this is where I'm a little bit busy. I didn't let my resin sit. So I mixed my resin and then I started with the video pouring and taking care of the clear resin in my mold. Because I get this question very often, how long do you wait? If I'm using the Mastercast resin like I'm doing in this case, I don't need to wait because it's already a 1-to-1 resin and it's thick. So I can start pouring, and I'm taking here my white, and I have to snip off my piping bag. I also needed to get some air out, and I'm just, I don't know if you see it. I don't make the hole too little, but also of course not too big. So if you are not sure, please first make your hole in your piping bag a little bit smaller. You can always cut it out bigger. So you see what I'm doing here, pouring my petals, and I'm going just in sort of loops, just 2 rounds with the white. And I try to be rather accurate with my design, which is not easy to estimate. So I follow the design where it's more tipsy and not where the bows are. And I hope you know that my petals are similar long, but I doubt it because for me it's sometimes quite difficult to estimate. So, but I always say it's handmade and it cannot be perfect. Even though my video is already fasted forward by 1.5, you can see that I'm pouring rather slow, and here I'm now taking my dotting tool and I'm smoothing out the tips where I started pouring, where I ended pouring, so that I don't have any blobs there, hopefully not any blobs. Even though, like I'm always saying in my videos, I sometimes like the blobs because they give depth to the piece. And there I went with my hand somehow in the resin with my glove, and I had to make sure that I'm doing my petal again. So I'm just showing you all the materials I used, which I introduced at the beginning of the video. So Now there's gonna be my bluish tone. It's sort of navy blue because it's quite dark, navy bluish to, yeah, how can I say it? It's not really teal, it's more navy. And I'm also going with 2 loops, oh God, my English, following a little bit the pattern of my white. So practically exactly the same thing. Just going around and around. It's been a while since I've poured with the piping bag, so I had to get used again because, yeah, it's really been a while. Normally I'm mainly pouring out of the cup, but I found my piping bags again after I cleaned my room, after I tidied my room. And so I thought, yeah, why not using the piping bags? And it's the easiest way also if you want to pour flowers, also when you do your spiral or whatsoever. Now you see I took my bluish tone and I went in between where those bows are. Just an easy petal, just up and down. And I don't mind if it's not evenly because nature is also not evenly. So now my next color is gonna be the Wildfire with the metallic Hypershift color. And I'm also going in little loopy petal, but only inside, you see it there. I'm not gonna do any more, just pouring inside my petals. And then I'm doing the same thing like I did with my bluish in between, also just adding the color. It's like drawing. It's like you're having a pen in your hand and you just draw whatever you need to draw. Now I still have white and I'm going again in the very inside of my flowers, so I have also a little bit white there. And my mold is already getting rather full, so I'm taking a little bit the risk that I'm overfilling, but I can already tell you it didn't happen, thank God. And now I'm also going around again, just so I have a little bit more white at the outer edges. And now my white is also getting less and I need to tighten up my piping bag. And yeah, it's still enough for the whole pour, so this is good. And this should be my last one, or no, that one might be my last one, yes. So I have my flower done and I'm using the torch very quickly just to pop some bubbles which are at the surface. Now I'm smoothing out a little bit again, just pulling my stick towards the center of the flower from the middle of the bigger petals. And then I'm taking my dotting tool and I'm going in the upper part of the petals and I'm just dragging my dotting tool towards the tip of this mold design where the tipsy parts are. So it's nothing really special, it's just a way of you are designing your flower. So that's what I've done, and then I will finish it off in a second with a final swirl in the center, because there was a lot of color in the center and I was a little bit afraid that I could have really a big blob in the center. So now I'm also adding white in between the petals because I thought maybe this also gives it a nice effect. And I still need to see if I have enough white in my cup, but then I can do the swirl finally, which I already said before. I thought I would have done the swirl earlier. So this is the struggle when you do the voiceover. But anyway, I'm done with my flower and I'm quite happy with this. So this is round about half an hour later, I think, and I can take you down for the close-up. And you see how the resin has worked. It's going to be working a little bit longer. It was still a little bit soft, a little bit liquid. So I'm quite hopeful for the flower, so fingers crossed. But for the color combination, I'm already very happy. I really love those colors together, and yeah, I'm very curious for the result. So stay tuned, and it's gonna be a second for you. For me, it was 1 day. So next day I can demold, and you can see how the resin really worked and also shrinked a little bit towards the center. So I'm very curious how this flower turned out. It's looking much more promising than my first flower, my first attempt. I did almost exactly the same pour, but like I said, my resin had too many micro bubbles, and that affects your flower, and it's also not nice for the clear resin. So, and look at this. I really love this pour, and I love the color combination. I'm very happy with this, and I want to pour this also with the same colors again. I can tell you this already, but doing a spiral, just to see how it comes out with this with these colors, making the spiral. So at some point this is coming, and this is my first attempt. You see the flower is not so definite in the petals. It's much nicer here, I think, for my taste. I don't know how you are thinking. So anyway, with the end result here, I love and leave you. I thank you for watching, and take care, guys. Bye-bye.